Deck builders and roguelike card games are becoming more popular. And in today's video, I am going to show you the 10 best roguelike card games that you should try. So without any further ado, let's start this video. The first game of this video is Griftlands. Play Entertainment's Griftlands is a captivating narrative-based deck-building roguelike that adds a whole new layer of nuanced decision-making to the genre. It's possible that different characters may approach the tale from various angles, interacting with a variety of people and honing their deck of cards. Next up we have Hand of Fate 2. It's hard to argue with the fact that Hand of Fate 2 is better than its predecessor, which was fantastic in its own right. A deck-building roguelike that combines aspects of Dungeons and Dragons in a gaming loop that is immensely enjoyable. Dungeon crawler meets board game with intricate deck-building mechanics that leave much of the card choices up to the player. Next up we have Book of Demons. Isometric roguelike dungeon crawler and deck-building RPG. Book of Demons. You don't use magical weapons. Instead, you use magical cards as a weapon. The length of each dungeon may be customized to any length you choose, and each dungeon is produced randomly. There is a lot of intricacy in the deck building, but the game itself is simple to pick up. Next up we have Roguebook. There are several unique mechanics in Roguebook that set it distinct from other deck-building roguelikes. Instead of using a single deck, you'll be using two characters, each with their own set of cards. There are a lot of ways to play Roguebook, and this lends itself to a lot of interesting gameplay and a wide variety of tactics. Next up we have For the Warp, a roguelike deck-building game set in the cosmos. Increase your chances of survival by learning new cards and adding them to your deck. Battle your way to the warp gate across randomly created systems. Allies and enemies, ancient civilization ruins, and strong ship technology await you in this epic adventure. Next up we have Slay the Spire. A lot of people start with Slay the Spire when discussing the best games of all time. After the popularity of Hand of Fate, Slay the Spire pulled down the mechanics of deck-building roguelikes to their very essence. Slay the Spire is one of the most straightforward games you'll ever play, but it's also one of the most challenging. Next up we have Monster Train. There are few deck-building games as addicting as Monster Train. Most of the fun in Monster Train comes from building decks that are utterly powerful, unlike games like Slay the Spire. Consistent occurrences throughout each run allow you to consistently eliminate cards and make major alterations to your deck, reducing your surplus cards to a bare minimum. This is achievable. Next up we have Banners of Ruin. It's a turn-based game featuring 6 different characters and their own sets of cards, all of which may interact with one another creatively. The game takes place in a series of dungeon-like chambers, each with its own set of problems and choices to be made. Like many other games of the genre, it has an act structure. Next up we have Tainted Grail Conquest. An RPG and a roguelike deck-building game have been combined in Tainted Grail Conquest by Awaken Realms Digital. There are a variety of personalities to choose from, each with its own unique deck of cards. One of the most sophisticated deck builders on the list, thanks to the variety of difficulty levels, card combinations, and boss bouts. The last game of this video is Rise of the Slime. A roguelite like no other, Rise of the Slime blends strategic deck-building gameplay with side-scrolling adventure themes to create an experience unlike any other. Get creative with more than 100 mystical cards. Arm your slime with the razor-sharp iron, poison it with acid, or release its inner pyromaniac. A gorgeous realm of swamps, lakes of fire, and enchanting gardens await you. So that's the list of 10 best roguelike card games that you can play in 2022. I'd appreciate it if you could give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel Games Puff if you found this video entertaining.